So when I created my wife, and I made a video about it before I even met her, well, she's gonna need to be this age, she's gonna need to be adventurous in all ways, loyal, and I put all these qualities into one woman, and then I went and found her. And from there, it's been pretty much marriage. And we fell in love and still are and always will be, according to the viciousness of our words against each other. So, explaining that part. Basically, when you reap what you sow, and you've done it to me, instead of it happening from someone else, I'm going to do it right back to you. So we basically humiliated each other. So we'd have to start with, there is nothing to do right now except fix and appreciate the godly union I have given you. I'm telling everybody that. And when we're doing it, I always remind her that we're not the only ones going through this. I'm walking with my people as well. I'm in their midst. And imagine praying everything out every morning. And then your wife is sitting there watching. And she's getting it and she's offering her advice. And you guys are coming up with your own ways of dealing with things. And we had discussed what we always discuss. Babe, I hear two voices. And she was saying, well, cast them out. And this time we're going to take a different approach. And we had developed our own strategy. It's like when we fight, we'll just love on each other. We both like that. And that decreases the amount of time that we fight. And her not really understanding, if the devil starts speaking through my wife and I'm getting accused, and I have to have a conversation with the devil every single time I speak to my wife, she's eventually going to lose that fight with her demons. So, dispelling all of the myths and all of that, after so many years, she usually has a stack of judgments hanging over her head when she comes here. And she gets a chance. God said, you have the grace to fix your marriage. Her arrogance, when, well, let's redirect here. So, figure out why your spouse attacks. So my spouse attacks me because she believes she is the avenger of everybody who is facing judgment or faced judgment. She believes she's a special individual that outranks everyone in her mind. You are not. You are not. You are not. And that's how the truth will set you free. So, this is not a normal Christian problem to have in your marriages. But nowadays, my kingdom marriages, it's probably not as severe as ours. from what I've observed, the entire point was to love you and cherish you and help you and be the best husband and father I could be. So look at what you have learned in your kingdom marriage. I do not feel that taking the approach of, God, why did you have me marry this person? This is your fault, is going to be beneficial, more detrimental. You have to look at, I know the outcome of this story. It's for my glory and your testimony. And you learning that if you're walking in the Spirit, you'll be walking in love. And then you're going to have a sound mind, less anxiety. You'll sleep better. We never get past the stage of we celebrate, we love on each other, we fall back in love, we fight, she leaves. We never get past that. When you're dealing with the accuser of the brethren has been cast down, the devil is come down, woe to you inhabitants of the earth, full of wrath, for he knows his time is short. And all of that comes into my wife, and she starts attacking. That doesn't happen out of nowhere. So what I have noticed this time around, there's saying things you don't mean. And with me and my wife, I put my spirit inside of her and we intertwine. We don't switch places. When I'm trying to speak through her to me, that's part of my heaven. I can do that. When she gets it confused is when something happened before she got here and it came with her. And what we tried this time and what I learned, as long as I keep phones out of it, things are easily understood by us both. We have the Spirit in our midst where two or more are gathered, and everything is biblical and it makes sense. And we can have discussions. I don't like talking about my own kingdom and the Bible with my wife. It's problematic. Because she sits there and she understands and she can ask questions, but I'm also going to access my cloud of truth here. And be like, no, this is what really happened. This is this is that. It becomes argumentative when I've been studying more things than you have, and I've been doing this every single day, and I've been piecing together the truth for people. He will have a name written on him no one knows but he himself. There you go. This is that. This is this. If your spouse, like my wife will unplug the modem now. She's learned some new tricks. That's an indication that you have a spirit that is sabotaging what I am doing for you. So a lot of times you have to have the evidence, and you sit down, you have an intervention with your spouse to prevent the things that are going to happen because you got involved. That's why I tell you to do things. If she wouldn't have fought me so much, we would have avoided a lot of fights. We would have avoided her leaving. Something happened to set that into motion. So she connects both of us to a lot of darkness. My wife dwells in darkness. There's no way to say anything else. That's like chaining yourself, jumping into the ocean, and expecting to breathe. I am the light, per scripture. And the city has no need for light because the Lamb is the light and God's glory illuminates it. So the scriptures I utilize, I meditate on. When you step out of my will, and most of you don't understand, I'm speaking to you and telling you what to do to help you, or you take your wedding ring off, all of these things that we're dealing with now started 3.5 years ago. But we're still having to deal with them. So if we learn the lesson now, then we won't have to deal with consequences of what happened 3.5 years ago and kind of dig our way out of this black hole that me putting my spirit in her has remained in, which is another reason. The outcome is always going to be, God is going to be sovereign. So love is going to be long-suffering, but love's going to do whatever love needs to do to help you out and have the best day possible for you. So when you two are totally dedicated to each other, and your devotion is there as it should be, and you're keeping to yourselves, as I stated, our fights usually happen the same way. It starts with her contacting her home state. Demons come right in here. So it's already kind of swelling up. And then if she has a phone, her texting a house or what she's doing, she's building her own life all over again. And that's when she starts kindling wrath against herself. So to prevent any further inappropriate activities outside of our marriage, we had come up with a game plan. She didn't follow that. You want to be involved in what I am doing in your life for you to have abundant life. Instead of repeating myself, you have to let the judgment fall. And that's what judgment does. It puts you back on the right path. And that is love. So, holding true to the scripture seems to upset the demons in her, but I always will. And her not understanding everything I do is good. And the past words I've said to her demons, she has not let go of because they're the same demons she has. Yeah. So they remember it and then remind her. And then she, of course, stands up for them and advocates for them. So it's not as complex as it seems when you do the simple little things. And do not despise small beginnings. It's not impossible to fix this marriage. Perfect.